$3.7 million by the age of 17. That sounds like a pretty good deal, right? Now, Harry Potter might just be one of the most popular books ever, but one thing always confused me: the wealth of the characters. I mean, how rich are some of these wizarding families? And why are some of them just so poor? So let's tackle that question in this video. We're going to explore just how rich Harry Potter and the other characters in this universe are. So buckle in, it's going to be an interesting one. So before we go into the details, there are a couple of basic facts that we should be using in this video. Wizarding money has 3 denominations: galleons, sickles, and nuts. By the way, wizards are supposed to be so smart and efficient, so the choice of using these heavy metal coins always escaped me. But I digress. The conversion between these coins are as follows. 1 galleon is 17 sickles, and 1 sickle is 29 nuts. So, the more galleons you have, the more of a baller you are in the wizarding world. Okay, let's get started with the main character. Fans of the book will know that Harry inherited a small fortune from his deceased parents. So how big was this fortune? A mathematician on Reddit named Necratus Red actually managed to figure out that the sum of the money in that pile amounted to a minimum of 50,625 galleons. Now, the Redditor actually took a frame-by-frame analysis from this clip in the movie where Hagrid takes Harry Potter to Gringotts to see his parents' vault, to see his inheritance. Now, hats off to this Redditor because this must have taken ages to calculate. And 1 galleon is about 15 USD according to several sources that I've seen online. So that puts his inheritance at an impressive sum of $750,000. So that begs the question, how did Harry's parents get so much money in the first place, especially in their 20s, because we know that they didn't live for very long? And the answer is quite simple. Lily and James Potter also inherited their own money from Harry's grandfather, Fleamont Potter. Turns out that Fleamont Potter actually developed a Sleek Easy's hair potion, something that really took off with the American witches. And the sales from that potion actually quadrupled their family gold. Fleamont ended up selling his company, and the fortune that he got from selling his company was eventually passed down, and it ultimately went into Harry's fortune. So not a bad deal, I think. But wait, there's more. Later on in the book series, like a true financially savvy investor, Harry diversifies his portfolio and starts to build his wealth. As the book progresses, Harry starts raking in even more money. In book 4, he wins the Triwizard Tournament, which grants him a respectable prize of 1,000 galleons, and that's around $15,000. But the majority of his wealth actually comes as a surprise, and that happens around book 5. Harry's godfather, Sirius Black, he tragically dies. Now, Sirius was also part of one of the wealthiest wizarding families that ever existed. He was ashamed of his family and how they obtained their wealth. But at the end of the day, Sirius was left with a massive inheritance. According to a magazine called The Richest, Sirius's fortune was worth over 199,000 galleons. In dollars, that's a whopping $2.9 million. So, combining Harry's money from his parents, his winnings from the Triwizard Tournament, and his inheritance from Sirius Black, he's worth an astounding $3.7 million, and all of that by the age of 17. Realistically though, this amount might be slightly lower because throughout the book, we do see Harry helping his friends, spending money on his schools, books, and other life essentials. We also see him splurging sometimes. But with that amount of wealth at the age of 17, we don't really see Harry doing dumb things or wasting money. So hats off to him for being financially prudent. Okay, let's look at the other characters in Harry Potter. Their financial situation is actually pretty easy to understand from the books. For instance, the Weasleys. Now, they're known for having very little money. Take a minute and consider all the wealthy characters in the Harry Potter universe. They all had generational inherited wealth. But the Weasleys, they were different. No generational wealth. Instead, they simply relied on Arthur Weasley's salary, and they lived very modestly. Also, they had a bunch load of kids. Now, one of the most shocking facts that I came up with was from another character, Dobby the elf. It turns out that Dobby was worth more than just a sock. The Malfoys paid him a weekly salary of 1 galleon. Later on, Dobby was free and started working at Hogwarts. That's right, Dumbledore employed him after the Malfoys, and he offered him a wage of 10 galleons a week. So that's about $150. And in a year, that would amount to just over $7,000. Now, given that Dobby didn't have to pay for food, utilities, or rent, he actually could potentially have saved up more money than the Weasleys. Think about it, an elf having more money than the Weasleys. Alright, speaking of Dumbledore, he was quite the earner as well. So let's break that down. He earned a substantial salary from his position at Hogwarts. This is an estimate, but a private school headmaster's salary in Scotland is around $200,000 to $400,000 a year. And before that, he held other important titles. This included the Supreme Mugwump of the International Confederation of Wizards. That's your United Nations in the Muggle world. He was also the Chief Warlock of Wizengamot, which is basically the Wizarding Supreme Court. Now, according to this website, if we take estimates of how much these positions actually earn in the real world, we'll get an estimate of Dumbledore's fortune at the time of his death, and that would be around 445,000 galleons. In today's dollar amount, that would be about $6.6 million. Now that's a pretty decent chunk of change for someone who helped stop 2 wizarding wars. Alright, next is the Malfoys. To be honest, this requires a much deeper dive, and I'm gonna do that in a future video. But for now, I'm gonna reference this magazine, The Richest, where they claim that Lucius had an immense amount of fortune that his bloodline accumulated over the centuries. Lucius further built his wealth by marrying into a prosperous and prominent wizarding family. So what exactly is his wealth? According to the website, it's about 321 million galleons. That would make him richer than Mark Cuban. And this just goes to show, money doesn't buy class. Thanks so much for watching, I hope you liked this video. Are there other characters' finances that you want me to look into? Comment down below with any requests. And if you liked today's video, you'll like this one that I made about productivity lessons that we can take from King Leonidas in the movie 300. Check it out here, and we'll see you soon.